Anything not inherently governmental in nature is on the table for privatization, which includes the commissaries. And that's according to a memo from the Deputy Secretary of Defense. Here to talk more about that is Cory Titus.
Thanks, Jen. And yes, we are keenly watching this issue, given how important commissaries are to our members and just the military community writ large.
Yeah, and commissaries do save military members on average just shy of 25%, which is incredible. But they can't do that just by selling their products. So how does the funding stream work?
Yeah. So that 25% figure you mentioned, that is broken down on the aggregate. So it's important to consider CONUS versus CONUS. So that's not at every single store. But that holistic approach is critical and important to understand, because when we're getting funding, it comes in part from just the annual appropriations, but the other part comes from people shopping there. And
right, so if we privatize, that congressional funding goes away, and so how are they going to make up the costs that cover workforce, utilities, just having the building, the facility?
Yeah, that's a very good point. That money is going to need to come from somewhere, and the first thing that's going to happen is prices are going to go up. You're privatizing. You want profit as well on top of that, was just going to be tacked on.
Right, and if you're looking for a profit, you might not want to invest in facilities that are in remote duty stations like the Army and the Marine Corps tend to do.
Right. And that's the important part that just is kind of a driving factor that really sparked the creation of the commissaries, is making sure that you're meeting service members where they are, and oftentimes in very austere locations.
Yeah, and we recognize there are opportunities for optimization across DoD, specifically even within the commissary. But we've got some lessons learned from privatization. So share your concerns coming from the housing experience.
Yeah. What we saw with the privatized housing initiative off the bat was short-term savings for the government. But a couple decades later, we saw housing was underinvested. We saw a lot of problems with mold, pest infestations, and Congress needed to take a really hard look at it and also turn on increased funding to help fix these problems. So what we truly don't know is whether the savings across the board were necessarily there, and was that to the service members and their families' benefit.
Yeah, and it really takes out the accountability factor from military leadership, and also removes any of the teeth that they had to actually address the issue because of this partnership.
Well, you recognize that the commissaries do have opportunities for improvement. Privatization's not necessarily going to fix them, and the commissaries are absolutely trending in the right direction. There was a dip in sales, but now they're starting to grow. They're heading in the right direction, and they're recapturing customers as they expand the number of people that can shop there and just delivering competitive services and products.
Well, historically, changes like this take a lot of time, so nothing's happening tonight. How can our listeners follow along?
Well, if you want to follow along, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, sign up for the Legislative Action Center, and of course, subscribe and like these videos. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.